So you've got users coming to your site, but they're probably not buying in the huge numbers that you want them to be. If they are, congratulations, that's awesome. But if they're not, you might want to consider improving your conversion rate by looking at retargeting. And today we're going to do just that. We're going to talk about what retargeting is. I'm going to tell you about the chief platforms for retargeting, and then I'm going to show you how you can use it yourself. My name's Trent Kennelly. I'm a marketing strategist, and on this channel, I talk about all the things that you can do to improve your business through marketing, sales, and analytics. So if that sounds good to you and you're excited, make sure that you like this video, subscribe to my channel if you're into it, comment and let me know if you've done any retargeting yourself and how that's worked for you. If you haven't, that's okay. You can tell me that too. That's why we're here. And stick around until the end so I can show you how to get a free consultation from me, totally free, no strings attached. I'll tell you all about that at the end. Or to get a detailed guide for putting this practice in effect yourself. All right, let's get started. Okay, so what is retargeting? Retargeting is where you are targeting your previous page visitors to bring them back into the page for purchase. So retargeting. So it's because most people don't actually buy on their first visit, and it's really likely that they're never going to return after that first visit. So you need to find a way to re-engage with them wherever they are. So if they're on Google or Facebook or email or whatever, you need to find a way to bring them back onto your page. And this is exactly why you'll visit a web page for the first time, you'll leave, and then suddenly you're seeing banner ads all over the place for that web page. It's because you've just been retargeted. So let's talk about what you need technically for this. To retarget, you really just need tracking set up. And to have tracking set up, whatever your Facebook pixel is for your normal ads, you'll just use the same one for retargeting ads, okay? So let me just give you a quick walkthrough for how to set up those pixels for Facebook, Google, and for email event tracking, and we'll just go from there. So let's just jump to the computer real quick. First, we're gonna start with Google Pixel. So we'll go ahead and jump up to Tools, and we're gonna go to Conversions. Then you can click the plus button up here, and then you can just start tracking conversions on your website. So we're going to create, I'm going to say purchase as the conversion type, because you can have lots of different conversion types. This is kind of like events that are related to Google itself. So we've got this conversion name. I'm going to call that purchase. I'm just going to call that website purchase. Let's see, the value is, we can have at the same value, different values. You can change the way that you set this up sometimes, where you can program the value. Let's just use the same value for each time, and we'll just call it 20 euros. And we're going to count every single purchase. And then this is, there's a couple of setup things about how you count a conversion. So who gets credit for the conversion effectively? So if there's a click, then you get 30 days credit. So if they click, then they leave, and then they come back within the next 30 days, then Google can get credit for that. Or if they are looking and they don't click and then they come back later, that's the view through. That happens within 1 day, then Google can get credit for it. So we could change those if we wanted to. I don't know, 45 days, 1 week, if we wanted to. It changes the bid amount though. That changes things when you're actually doing ads. So just keep that in mind. Okay, so let's create it. You can install the tag in a couple of different ways. You can use Tag Manager. You can install the tag yourself. I think we're going to go with Tag Manager here. I think that's just going to make life a bit easier. Okay, so let's go through the instructions here. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to go to Google Tag Manager, and we're going to start a new tag. So we'll go Tags, New Tag, Tag Configuration, Google Ads Conversion Tracking. Okay, and then we're just going to put in all that information that we just got from Google Ads over here. So conversion ID here. We're going to go back to Google Ads and put it in there. The conversion label is this. And we'll just copy paste that in there. Now, again, we can put that conversion value if we want to. We kind of defined that already, so we'll just go ahead and leave that blank. But the nice thing is that we could use that Google Ads pixel that we already are going to install and put it in concert with this, and we would be able to change the price based on what the tag is. Okay, so before we save that, we want to add a trigger, and the trigger is all pages. So we could change it to a checkout page if we wanted to. You just put in that URL, but for now, just for simplicity's sake, we'll just say all pages, because we want to be able to use this for tracking, for retargeting, etc. So go ahead and save that, and then we'll go back over here. We'll go next, and we're just going to click done, and we've got our website tracking set up. So that's set up through Google Tag Manager, which means that because Google Tag Manager is theoretically installed on your site. If not, I really suggest that you get G-Site Kit for your WordPress site. It just makes it a lot easier to install everything basically, and you can just set up Tag Manager directly through that. So I would really highly suggest that. But now that I have Google Ads set up with Google Tag Manager, we can jump over to Facebook. Okay, I'm in Business Manager, so I'm going to go ahead and go to Business Settings here. And then we're going to click Data Sources, and I want pixels. So a pixel is just the short form for the code that you're going to set up to install. So I have a pixel here. Let's just go ahead and create a new pixel. I'm just going to call this, Trent's Pixel 2. Sounds great. So we're going to put in our website. Let's see if we've got any easy setup options. So it looks like I can set up the pixel. So we'll go ahead and set that up. And then I'm going to add the code using a partner integration. So there's some integrations that it has, so it should just make life a little bit easier here. So I'll select WordPress because that's my site. There's a lot of options that we can pick here. So advanced matching will allow you to match the information on your site that you have with somebody who's actually got a Facebook account. You can enable this online offline conversions tracking, so that's really kind of nice. You just have to create a token for that. For now, we'll just go ahead and go without it. Then we just download this pixel extension, so this should make it nice and easy because we're just going to upload it as a plugin onto our website here. So we'll just go ahead and continue, and then it's going to guide us. So it's a nice guided approach. So we're going to go over to our dashboard here. We're just going to jump down to plugins, add new, and then we can just upload the plugin quickly, install the plugin. It's going to take a minute to unzip the file. Make sure that you uploaded the zipped file. You don't need to unzip this at all. So once it goes through all of this, we can just go ahead and click activate plugin because we always have to activate a plugin that we install on WordPress. All right, that's active. So let's go ahead and jump back into business settings and see. So we did that. We did that. We did that. We did that. All right, so now it's going to ask for the pixel ID. So we have to go back into to WordPress and we have to fill out this information here. So let's go ahead and grab this pixel ID because we're going to need that. So just copy it here, and then we'll go settings, Facebook pixel. Nice thing about doing it this way is you don't have to put it on every single page. It's just throughout the entire site. So, oh, it looks like the pixel's there already, but we'll just paste it just to make sure. And then let's see, what else do they want? They want advanced matching is enabled, server-side API is not enabled, and the access token is none. So, and then we're good. So we save the changes there. Okay, that should be good. Now let's go back here and test it. Continue. We'll go ahead and test this out real quick. So it just sent back to the same page, to my page, obviously, but it's a Facebook tracking click ID so that we're going to be able to see if things are working or not. So it looks like we have a click ID there, and we'll just go ahead and come back here. It looks like it's just checking it out just to make absolutely sure, but I think we're going to be in good shape. And so then it goes active, so nice and easy. So then we can just go ahead and continue. Now we could set up events here if we wanted to. This would be a really good thing for retargeting, so we can know if they get to a checkout page, we can enter that checkout page. We could do that here. For now, we'll just go ahead and continue. And then you could test all of those events. Very seamless process to check out events on a Facebook pixel. Okay, so last thing is email. So again, this is going to be different on every email system. So I'm going to kind of go pretty light here, but I just want to show you. So it goes for ActiveCampaign, you go settings, tracking, and then you can get a tracking code, which you then put on your site again with another WordPress plugin. So I'm using the ActiveCampaign plugin. Right here, I just put in my API key and everything, which all you have to do is just install the code onto your website right there, nice and easy. And so for event tracking for an email, you want to be able to track events that are happening on your website so that you can send specific emails. Now, I'll be honest, for this part, you need a coder because you need to be able to access the ActiveCampaign API. I'm not that guy, so I'm not going to be able to show you how to do that. But just to get everything ready for them, you can have this tracking on and you can just enable the status here. So that's all that really takes. Okay, so let's talk about how to retarget. So first, let's just understand that it's really not any different from any other ad. It's just the target that's different, which means that the messaging needs to be different. Because these are people who have been to your website already, they're more familiar with who you are, with who your brand is. And so it's a lot easier to talk to them more directly about the product or about specific benefits to get them to come back in than it would be to somebody who you're just introducing yourself to. So let's go ahead and answer a few questions to kind of figure out how we're going to retarget them. So first, do you want to build traffic or do you want to build sales? Because if you want to build traffic, then you can target anybody who's just recently visited your site, which means that it's going to be a much larger number of people than if you want to target sales, which might be people who just got to the checkout page and left, or who almost got to the checkout page and left, and then you can use like abandoned cart emails or whatever. So those are going to be a denser group, meaning that it'll be a smaller group of people, but they're the people who are most likely to buy. Whereas if you're going after traffic, you're still going to get a lot of people sloughing off on the sides, but at least you're having a larger group of people that you can retarget to come back into the page. What information do you have on the user? Do you have their email address? If so, great. You can start targeting them that way through abandoned cart emails or whatever. If you have their event tracking because you have Facebook Pixels and Google Ads, so you can use that to retarget them, and that's going to help you to understand where they are, which is the next question. So if you know that your target market is most often on Facebook, you can more easily target them on Facebook, meaning that you can take more of the budget that you have overall for retargeting and put it on Facebook versus Google, okay? So it's all about understanding where they are so you can balance these things out. Okay, so now let's retarget. Let's actually just do it directly. So the way that you retarget is by identifying the right people, right? So to do that, we're gonna go to Tools, Shared Library here, Audience Manager. Then on the left menu here, we're gonna click Audience Sources. Click the Google Ads tag here. You're gonna click the details there. If you haven't already set up remarketing, we're just gonna go click Tag Setup here. And then we're gonna use Google Tag Manager for that. And it's gonna give us a conversion ID here. So now we can go back to Google Tag Manager with that ID. Let's go ahead and add a new tag. And we're gonna have tag configuration be Google Ads Remarketing right here. I'm going to give you the conversion ID right here. Now you can get really super specific and advanced in here. For now, we're just going to do the remarketing conversion ID, and then we're going to select a trigger. If you wanted your trigger to be on the checkout, you would probably need to use a custom tag configuration. But right now, as I mentioned, we're just going to keep a general parameter. Okay, so we're just going to say all pages. So now anybody who comes to the page one time, they get retargeted automatically from that point forward. Save that, and we're going to just call it Google Ads Remarketing, nice and simple, and we're done. So now anytime you want to run an ad for these groups for retargeting, you would just use an audience type of campaign, and you would target the audience of people who are showing up in that tag. Nice and simple. Now back to Facebook, so we can do that really quickly. Facebook, the way that we're going to run an ad for that, we can open this in Events Manager, and we can manage the events that are going to be related to the pixel. So we can say specifically, because this is a retargeting pixel, we're going to say when these events are happening, that's when I want you to take action. So that's when I want you to trigger. So right now it's on page view. So anybody who has viewed the page, they would get this trigger. And then the way to get the retargeting audience to run an ad for retargeting in Facebook is you want to build a custom audience based on that retargeting. Okay, so let's go to Business Manager, Audiences. We can create an audience. So you can see I've created similar audiences before, lookalike audiences and that sort of stuff. We're just going to create a custom audience here, and we're going to base it on the website. Okay, so we'll just go ahead and create a retargeting pixel quickly for Facebook. So it's the same basic setup as we've done before. We'll say that we want to retarget all website visitors, but you could retarget people who have visited specific pages, like your checkout page or something, and then they haven't come out on the other end of it. And then you can name your audience. Another way that you could do this, just to be clear, is you could build the audience off-site, and then you could upload that audience, a constantly uploaded audience, into Facebook. That's also a nice way to do this retargeting, and it's very simple to do that as well. So we'll call this retargeting audience, create that audience. Great. So we're just going to go ahead and create an ad, and then that's all it takes. So we've already got the pixel that's associated. We've already done it. There's really nothing else to do. We just have to create the ad now. Nice and easy. And then back to ActiveCampaign, back to email. So basically all we would really be doing here, and I'm going to show you kind of a demo setup, is you're going to create an automation that is an abandoned cart automation. That's really the most important thing that you can be doing here. So let's go ahead and create an automation. Nice thing about ActiveCampaign is that they have automations that are already built in, so you don't have to really build this out yourself. So let me just pull that up and show you quickly. So I'm just going to search for abandoned cart. And look, we've got abandoned cart part 1 and abandoned cart part 2. So let's go ahead and add part 1. Okay, so the abandoned cart is effectively 3 different automations. They like to break them up like this just to kind of simplify things. This will make sense in a minute. Let's just go ahead and jump through the wizard for the abandoned cart. And then I opened up the other 2 because it'll all kind of flow together. So you'll see. So let's go ahead and get started. We want to make sure that it's associated with the integration. So again, you're going to need the right integration. You're going to need to have the correct event set up for this. Otherwise, you can just select the correct product. So whatever you have, if it's red shoes, as they say, that's great. The category that it might be in, and that might be in shoes as well. And then the cart value. So whatever that value ends up being. So let's say 25 bucks. Those are cheap shoes, but whatever. And then it's going to take you to the next thing. So you want to send whatever this email is. So you're going to start by sending this email. So let's just show you what it looks like. This is the email. So it basically says they enter from this list or they enter from this action, whatever this event is. It says, have they purchased it or not? If they've purchased it, great, you can end it. If not, you send the abandoned cart email. Okay. If once they've had that abandoned cart email sent, it's going to take them to part 1. So let's just go ahead and jump in here. And then it wants to know, have they entered into abandoned cart? Have they purchased? Have they already been sent a reminder or not? If they have already been reminded, then you need to wait. If they haven't, then you can go ahead and send this email and this automation. And then the last part is just a flow. Like this is kind of like a constant drip. So are they in the automation otherwise, or have they purchase the product or not? If they've purchased the product, then you can end it. If not, it's going to keep dripping them through this. Okay. And that's really it. So it's 3 automations. It looks a little bit complex, but basically the whole idea is that it's constantly asking the question, have they purchased or not? If they haven't purchased, then it bumps you into an email. If they have purchased, then it just ends the automation. You never get this email again, but it's just 1 or 2 emails. Nice and simple. Last thing, guys, messaging. So this isn't cold traffic. These people already know who you are. You don't have to introduce yourself to them again. You can speak to them with some level of familiarity. So it depends on where you're retargeting. If you're retargeting people who only visited the page and weren't near the checkout, then you can kind of focus on relationship building there. If it's closer to the checkout, like they abandoned the cart, then you can talk directly about making that purchase again. So it really depends on where they are, but in any case, you can speak to them a little bit more with a familiar tone, a little bit more directly than you did when it was cold traffic that they'd never heard of you before, okay? There you go, guys. I hope that was helpful for you to figure out how to retarget and make the most of that for your business. If you need a little bit more information, if you want kind of a visual walkthrough of this, check out the link in my description for a guide that kind of walks through this exact process of retargeting, but on paper, so it's easier for you to follow. Make sure that you check that out in the description. Otherwise, if you're looking for a free marketing consultation from me because you're a business that just can't afford to pay a marketing consultant right now, just go to the link in my description and fill out the form on the website. Just give me a little pitch as to what you need. I would love to help you. It's really important to me that you are a business in need. So make sure that you check that out. Otherwise, like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll catch you in the next one.